opening and invitation to the quantum field. As you step into this space, take a moment to pause and let yourself sense the delicate pulse that lives between one thought and the next. We're about to explore emotional intelligence through the lens of quantum physics, uncovering how every emotional choice shapes invisible fields of possibility. Before moving forward, I invite you to do something both simple and profoundly intentional. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Beyond supporting this work, that gesture creates an energetic bridge, allowing transformational content to reach more people and return to you in an elevated resonance that nurtures awareness in daily life. With each breath, your nervous system translates subtle vibrations into living information. Metaphysics calls this the intersection point between the unseen and the manifest. Quantum mechanics suggests that particles behave differently when observed. Our emotions behave in the same way. The moment we acknowledge them, the density of our experience shifts. Learning to see feelings not as enemies but as messengers makes room for higher states of clarity, creativity, and inner freedom to arise. Picture a quiet room where a single ray of sunlight reveals countless specks of dust suspended in midair. What once appeared empty now shimmers with hidden motion. In much the same way, when our attention rests gently on what we feel, we discover that no state is fixed. All are transient frequencies waiting to be interpreted. Quantum-informed emotional intelligence doesn't try to suppress or exaggerate. It translates each vibration into practical insight that helps align heart, mind, and purpose. Throughout this journey, we'll move between science and poetry, because both speak of subtleties that mirror one another. Together, we'll explore principles such as superposition and the collapse of the wave function, linking them to the way emotions can either unlock or restrict possibilities. As we build bridges between the inner laboratory of awareness and the laws that organize the cosmos, we begin to understand how every sensitive gesture has the power to reshape reality from the inside out. I remember a personal moment years ago, facing a demanding project that stirred intense anxiety. Instead of resisting, I chose to observe that uneasiness as a physicist might watch an unstable particle, without judgment, simply noting its dance. Naming each sensation and breathing with intention, I watched the raw energy of fear reorganize itself into creative clarity. That quiet inner experiment proved to me that refined attention can produce results as tangible as any mathematical equation. So, as we move ahead, keep the spirit of an explorer alive. Let each idea echo through your body. Let memories arise. Let insights settle until they form steady ground beneath you. This video is not just informational content. It is a laboratory of consciousness, an invitation to learn, to sense, and to apply. Weaving timeless wisdom, modern discoveries, and lived experience until quantum emotional intelligence reveals itself as a living pathway for inhabiting, with full presence, the vast field of luminous possibilities that is your own life. Foundations of Quantum Emotional Intelligence. When we talk about emotional intelligence, most people picture self-control or empathy. But through a quantum lens, its meaning widens dramatically. It invites us to see our inner states as living vibrational fields, continuously shaped by the quality of attention we give them. Just like an electron that seems undefined until it is measured, our emotions remain cloud-like until consciousness shines a light on them, giving shape, direction, and even texture to what we feel inside. Modern physics describes reality as an immense ocean of probabilities, a dynamic fabric where the simple act of observing reorganizes the threads of possibility. Something similar happens when we identify, name, and welcome our emotions. We shift from being captives of automatic reactions to becoming deliberate architects of experience. The small act of saying, "I feel sad," "I'm excited," or "I sense gratitude," collapses vague emotional patterns into clarity, opening space to choose responses aligned with what we want to manifest. Many dismiss this process because it seems too subjective, yet biology offers tangible evidence. Studies on heart coherence reveal that elevated feelings, appreciation, compassion, calm joy, synchronize heartbeat and breath, improving mental clarity and resilience. When we combine this data with a metaphysical view, emotions become more than moods. They are codes of communication between body and cosmos, subtle signals guiding the direction of our decisions and the flow of opportunities that gravitate toward us. Some imagine that managing emotions means suppressing them, but the path here is very different. It is about receiving, interpreting, and transforming them. Think of a set of scattered sound waves being tuned into a single melody. When you listen to an orchestra, you don't remove the instruments that sound off. You integrate them until they contribute to harmony. Every feeling holds an essential note, waiting to be tuned with patience and presence until it becomes part of the coherent symphony we call inner maturity. Try a simple exercise. During a moment of tension, close your eyes, take a slow breath, and picture your emotions as points of light dancing across a dark stage. Watch which ones shine brightly and which hide in shadow. Name them silently, without hurry. As you do, you'll notice the intensity loosening its grip while clarity begins to settle. This basic practice demonstrates how mindful attention can transform what once felt uncontrollable into valuable information, ready to serve your growth. Cultivating quantum emotional intelligence, then, is learning to be a kind observer of your own internal universe. Each time you choose to notice instead of automatically react, you build new neural circuits, train your brain to select higher-order responses, and strengthen the energetic field that supports your actions in the world. It is an art that blends patience, curiosity, and courage, reminding us that within each of us exists a laboratory as vast and mysterious as the stars themselves. Emotional superposition and conscious choice. In quantum mechanics, superposition describes a state in which a particle can exist in several possibilities at once, until an observer's focus defines which reality becomes visible. Our emotions operate in a remarkably similar way. Inside us, multiple responses coexist: hope and fear, excitement and doubt, waiting quietly until our attention chooses which vibration will be nourished and expanded into the landscape of daily experience. Understanding this principle reshapes how we approach moments of uncertainty. Instead of fearing the natural oscillation between emotional poles, we can treat it as a stage where fresh responses await selection. When anxiety surfaces, for instance, we might pause and ask, what message is this carrying? What creative power is trying to emerge through this feeling? Seen this way, emotions stop being obstacles and become gateways to wider levels of awareness, courage, and purposeful action. Think of ordinary situations, a challenging meeting, a delicate conversation, a professional decision that feels heavier than it should. Within you, several scenarios coexist, each tethered to its own emotional tone. The moment you stop, breathe, and simply observe, you create room for choices aligned with your deeper purpose. Breath becomes an instrument that stabilizes the inner field, slowing chaotic currents so wisdom can replace automatic impulses and shape a calmer response. Working alongside leaders, creators, and people navigating complex roles, I've noticed how clarity grows when they adopt this perspective. Before reacting, they identify the range of feelings present, name the inner stories attached to them, and deliberately decide which energy to strengthen. It's like standing before a control board of frequencies, turning the dial until the note that supports harmony, focus, and bravery emerges. Repeating this small practice develops the skill of consciously selecting the emotion that will guide each step. There is an important nuance here. This isn't about denying heavy vibrations, but illuminating them. Emotions labeled negative, anger, sadness, frustration, carry valuable data about boundaries, values, and unmet needs. Quantum physics teaches that nothing truly disappears. It only changes its form. So too with our feelings. When welcomed, they can transform into creative momentum, feeding projects, decisions, and relationships that are more genuine and aligned with the truth of who we are. Every time you honor this process, you reinforce a central capacity of quantum emotional intelligence, the to choose from the ocean of internal possibilities, the wave that resonates most closely with your purpose. That choice doesn't erase challenges, but it wraps them in a light of understanding, softening the weight of chance and restoring a sense of authorship over your life. Becoming the benevolent observer of your own experience is the invitation that emotional superposition offers, an invitation to live with presence, clarity, and meaningful intent. The collapse of the emotional wave. Function. When an observer measures a particle, the wave function that once held countless possibilities collapses into a single definite outcome. In a strikingly similar way, when you consciously recognize and name an emotion, it stops being a hazy current and becomes clear data, ready to be transformed. This deliberate act creates a point of stability in your inner field, allowing energy that was previously scattered to align with higher goals and more intentional directions. Emotional collapse in this sense isn't repression, it's clarification. It means giving shape to what once vibrated in a diffuse state, translating it into usable information. By saying, "I feel uncertain," you're not merely describing a mood, you're casting light on it, drawing boundaries that make creative intervention possible. That small gesture activates neural circuits for self-regulation, strengthens your sense of presence, and releases inner resources that had been locked behind a fog of vagueness and doubt. Many people live in constant turbulence simply because they don't understand this principle. They try to push feelings away, ignore signals from the body, or get lost in endless loops of analysis. The path suggested here is far more direct and compassionate. Observe, name, and embrace. This trio works like a laser, focusing emotional energy until it reorganizes itself. Anger can become disciplined courage, sadness, a quiet call for meaning, fear, a reminder to prepare with greater care and mindfulness. I recall a season when an important project seemed doomed before it even began. Anxiety and exhaustion wrapped everything in a heavy mist. I chose to practice what I teach. I sat quietly, listed each emotion one by one, and spoke their names out loud. As I did, they began to lose their grip, making room for insights and solutions that had been invisible moments before. That experience taught me that clarity doesn't come from running away, but from honest dialogue with the living energy of our own feelings. Practicing the conscious collapse of the emotional wave function means giving yourself permission not only to feel, but also to reposition yourself. Once you recognize a state, ask, "What can I create from this?" That simple question turns emotion into fuel, carving space for choices that align with your values and goals. Every response, no matter how small, becomes a step along the bridge that connects inner perception to concrete results in the outer world. Over time, you'll discover that this process is more than a psychological exercise. It's a movement of integration between science and soul. It reveals that your inner experiences aren't isolated accidents, but expressions of an attentive universe, ready to cooperate with your conscious intent. To collapse emotions, then, is far more than organizing thoughts. It's taking part in the creative flow itself, guiding vibrations into forms that best honor the person you choose to become. Entanglement, emotions and the relational field. In quantum physics, the phenomenon of entanglement shows that particles can remain mysteriously connected even when separated by vast distances, reacting instantly to each other's movements. This principle offers a powerful metaphor for our relationships. Emotions don't arise in isolation. They dance in resonance with the energy of those around us, weaving an invisible fabric where every gesture ripples far beyond what we can consciously measure or predict. How many times have you walked into a room and sensed an atmosphere before anyone said a single word? That spontaneous reading isn't coincidence. It's your natural capacity to tune in to the subtle emotional frequencies permeating families, teams, and social spaces. Realizing this expands our responsibility for what we transmit. When we hold calm, clarity, and empathy, we emit steady waves that invite others to discover that same point of balance, much like a well-tuned string coaxing harmony from a nearby instrument. There is, of course, a reverse side. When we're surrounded by tension, criticism, or pessimism, our own field tends to vibrate in sympathy with that pattern. This is where the invitation to quantum emotional mastery appears. Recognizing that you can consciously choose which signal to amplify rather than being swept up by automatic echoes. This awareness transforms interactions into opportunities for alignment, where your very presence becomes a catalyst capable of softening heavy atmospheres and inspiring more constructive responses. I remember guiding a creative team under intense deadline pressure. The air felt dense, and ideas seemed trapped behind a wall of fatigue. I decided to begin the meeting with a slow breath, silently acknowledging each person's effort. Then I invited everyone to share one positive aspect of the process so far. The shift was immediate. Shoulders relaxed, smiles appeared, and fresh solutions began to flow. That episode confirmed how the emotional quality we choose to sustain directly shapes collective intelligence and performance. But you can practice this even in simple encounters. Before starting a conversation, take a few quiet seconds to align your inner state. Breathe deeply. Picture a gentle light expanding from your heart, and imagine your words carrying clarity and care. That brief preparation refines your vibrational field, making your communication clearer, warmer, and easier to receive. Each dialogue then becomes a co-creative space where shared emotions build reality, rather than a mere exchange of data. Understanding emotional entanglement means acknowledging that we live immersed in a dynamic relational field. We are both transmitters and receivers of subtle frequencies, and the way we modulate those waves defines the quality of our bonds. This perspective not only enriches empathy, but reveals that every relationship is a quantum laboratory where we learn, recalibrate, and evolve. Choosing to radiate harmony is therefore an act of consciousness that uplifts both your own path and the journeys of those who walk beside you. Vibrational coherence and emotional self-management. When we speak about coherence, we evoke a state where mind, heart, and breath align like strings of the same instrument, resonating in harmony. Research on heart coherence shows that elevated feelings, gratitude, compassion, serene joy, generate rhythmic patterns in the heartbeat, promoting mental clarity and physiological stability. This harmony is not only biological, it mirrors the quantum principle of resonance, where systems naturally adjust to each other until equilibrium is reached. Emotional self-management, seen through this lens, stops being a hard struggle and becomes an intentional dance with your own inner frequencies. When you notice a heavy or turbulent feeling, the invitation isn't to expel it, but to offer it a coherent field where it can reorganize. It's like pouring cloudy water into a clear vessel and waiting patiently as gravity lets the sediment settle. Calm, sustained by the observing self, allows emotional particles to rest, revealing a clarity that once felt unreachable. One very practical way to cultivate coherence is to use the breath as a bridge. Inhale gently to a count of 4, pause for a heartbeat, then exhale slowly to 6. While breathing, bring to mind a memory that evokes sincere appreciation or warmth. This small adjustment, repeated a few times, steadies the nervous system and reorganizes the dialogue between brain and heart. The more you practice, the faster you reclaim your center, even in the middle of demanding or chaotic circumstances. I remember a moment before an important presentation when a storm of self-sabotaging thoughts tried to take control. Rather than fighting them, I sat quietly, breathed with steady rhythm, and summoned a scene of gratitude. The face of someone who believed in me when I doubted myself. Within minutes, my body relaxed, and clarity displaced fear. That experience affirmed that coherence isn't a distant theory, but a living resource available to anyone willing to welcome and transform what they feel. Emotional self-management does not mean neutralizing life. It means guiding its energy toward conscious aims. When you learn to modulate your internal waves, you stop being a prisoner of circumstances and step into the role of conductor of your own vibrational state. This choice ripples outward, shaping your words, influencing your decisions, and affecting how your personal field impacts people and situations around you. Every moment of deliberate presence expands the reach of what you long to create. Over time, this practice shapes a steadier character, capable of responding with wisdom even when external reality appears chaotic. This is quantum emotional intelligence taking tangible form. A way of living where your frequency is not dictated by the highs and lows outside, but by a center cultivated through patience and awareness. Vibrational coherence becomes the quiet foundation of all inner leadership, supporting a life in which serenity and purposeful action walk hand in hand. Quantum empathy and the art of tuning in to others. When we speak about empathy, many people think of it as an emotional gesture or simple compassion. Yet, viewed through a quantum lens, it becomes something far more refined. The ability to adjust your own frequency so you can clearly perceive the vibration of another person without losing the integrity of your own field. Just as entangled particles respond to each other instantly across space, our consciousness can meet in a silent resonance where understanding and respect arise naturally, without effort or strain. This kind of empathy doesn't ask you to absorb another's pain. Rather, it invites you to acknowledge it and let your steadiness serve as a reference point. When we stay grounded, we offer a calm mirror to someone caught in turbulence. It's like tossing a smooth pebble into a restless lake. Little by little, the ripples reorganize, allowing clarity to emerge from what once felt chaotic. Quantum empathy operates as a field of coherence, gently inspiring stability in those who step inside its range. Practically, you can develop this capacity by centering your attention before an important conversation. Take a steady breath, allow tension in your body to soften, and bring to mind a clear intention to truly listen. Then, as the other person speaks, remain present. Resist the urge to prepare a response or judge their story. This simple yet powerful stance creates an atmosphere where the speaker feels genuinely seen and valued, opening doors for more creative solutions, reconciliation, and mutual respect. I recall meeting a young professional who was struggling with a crisis of confidence. He spoke quickly and seemed scattered, as though trying to outrun his own thoughts. I decided to simply listen, slowing my internal rhythm and quietly inviting him to breathe along with me. Gradually, his voice softened, and more honest words emerged. The change did not come from advice. It happened because he found a field where his emotions could reorganize, guided by the quiet strength of empathic presence. This form of empathy goes far beyond superficial communication techniques. It grows from the conviction that every human being is a vibrant universe, worthy of sincere attention. When you adopt this perspective, you begin to see beyond social masks, recognizing stories, wounds, and dreams waiting to be heard. It's an invitation to honor the dignity of others, offering a gaze that validates their existence and encourages the potential that lives just beneath the surface. Over time, quantum empathy becomes a natural habit, allowing your interactions to grow deeper and less reactive. You learn how to be with someone without losing yourself in them, creating a bond that strengthens both sides. This attitude also reflects a universal principle. When two fields of awareness meet in authentic presence, something larger emerges, a collective intelligence that transcends words, guiding decisions and nurturing relationships with truth, balance, and purpose. Expanding empathy into collective fields. When an aligned consciousness connects with others, a collective field is born. One in which emotions and intentions resonate at higher patterns of order. This synergy mirrors quantum experiments, where the behavior of a system depends on the whole, not only on isolated parts. In human contexts, it means that your personal coherence can influence meetings, families, or creative teams, elevating the quality of dialogue, decision-making, and the shared sense of purpose that arises from those encounters. Environments become fertile when someone decides to nurture genuine attention. Picture a group in which each person takes a breath before speaking, where opinions are offered without aggression, and ideas move with unhurried flow. That atmosphere, beyond being healthy, becomes a cradle for creativity. Empathy, when held as a vibrational state, doesn't just ease relationships. It organizes the subtle field in which cooperation, innovation, and mutual respect can thrive, linking the best of each participant to a common goal. From my experience with creative teams, I've seen that emotionally intelligent spaces consistently generate better outcomes. In one project, we were stalled by subtle disagreements. I suggested a silent pause. Each person breathed, checked in with their own state, and then we resumed the conversation. The energy shifted, smiles appeared, and ideas began to move naturally again. That simple practice confirmed that every environment is shaped, consciously or not, by its prevailing frequency, and that anyone present can help fine-tune it. You can try this in your home or workplace. Before stepping into a room, take a moment to scan your inner landscape. What emotions are you carrying? Then choose the vibration you want to share: serenity, enthusiasm, patience. This quiet intention will influence your expression, tone, and posture. Over time, you'll notice different responses: deeper listening, clearer dialogue, a calmer rhythm between people. This is emotional entanglement revealing its strength in the most ordinary settings. When groups learn to operate with this awareness, something larger than the sum of the individuals begins to appear. Projects flow with less friction, conflicts find creative resolution, and a sense of shared meaning infuses even routine tasks. The collective energy becomes a palpable resource, feeding ambitious goals and sustaining courage in the face of obstacles. It's the same dynamic physics describes when systems enter coherence, vibrating together like one living organism. The expansion of quantum empathy into collective fields shows a way to transform entire cultures, beginning with the smallest gestures. Every attentive glance, every careful word, every conscious breath before you answer becomes a point of light, strengthening the network that holds us all. This is the invitation of this journey, to recognize yourself as an agent of balance, able to infuse environments with clarity, warmth, and purpose, helping new horizons open for everyone involved. Inner leadership and impact on the world's field. Leadership, at its core, is not simply about directing people or managing projects. It is about radiating a steady frequency that inspires others to expand their own potential. When you cultivate emotional intelligence through a quantum perspective, you develop the capacity to sustain a coherent field where ideas, courage, and clarity can flourish. This inner leadership does not depend on titles or status. It grows from the ability to remain present even when life tempts you to react impulsively or give in to chaos. By aligning emotions, intentions, and actions, you become a reference point for those who watch you. Much like a crystal that organizes water molecules around it, your steady posture brings order to the environment, offering stability in the midst of turmoil. This quiet influence does not manipulate. It gently reveals higher possibilities for everyone involved, demonstrating that it is indeed possible to build realities grounded in respect, collaboration, and a shared sense of purpose. One memorable example happened while I was supporting a group through an unexpected crisis. Fear and uncertainty filled the air, yet one participant maintained serenity and clarity, guiding the dialogue without rushing. Their calmness worked as an anchor, helping the group discover creative solutions. That moment reinforced a vital truth. Vibrational leadership doesn't require eloquent speeches. It is born in those who, even under pressure, stay rooted in values and vision, holding space for others to rise. You can nurture this quality each morning as you begin your day. Before plunging into tasks, close your eyes and connect with the essence of what you want to seed in the world. Ask yourself, what vibration do I want to offer through what I will do today? This simple practice places your awareness at the helm, ensuring that circumstances don't dictate your course. Life responds to the consistency of those who choose to act from presence, turning challenges into opportunities for shared evolution. Inner leadership also calls for the courage to embrace your own vulnerability. Admitting that you don't always have every answer does not diminish your authority. Rather, it creates space for genuine dialogue and collaborative solutions. That deeply human gesture echoes quantum principles. The universe tends to manifest new patterns when we leave room for the unknown. By accepting the role of learner even as you guide, you invite mutual growth and keep creativity alive. Each coherent action strengthens the positive impact you can generate. Small gestures, listening attentively, celebrating others' progress, acknowledging efforts, are seeds of transformation that spread across the social fabric. When viewed through this lens, leadership stops being a hierarchical position and becomes an act of conscious service. It is an invitation to inhabit the world as a catalyst for harmony, radiating values that uplift not only your own journey, but also the paths of everyone around you. Closing an invitation to an ongoing journey. We have reached the point where every reflection from this path gathers like threads of light, weaving a broader fabric of understanding. Quantum emotional intelligence is not a distant theory. It is a living map guiding how you feel, think, and act. By integrating science, metaphysics, and practice, you learn to translate raw energy into steady presence, emotion into clarity, and intention into results that echo far beyond your personal story, leaving subtle imprints on the shared world around you. Notice how everything we explored, from emotional superposition to relational entanglement, from vibrational coherence to inner leadership, describes one continuous movement, awareness awakening to its creative power. Each insight you welcomed does not end in the intellect. It asks for room in the heart and expression through the hands. True transformation happens when theory finds its place in daily gestures, in a glance, a word, or a pause that nourishes new and wiser choices. But perhaps you can recall a moment when simply deciding to breathe before responding changed the course of a conversation. Or the time when, by listening with full attention, you caught a glimmer of relief in someone's eyes. These moments, though subtle, are evidence that reality responds to refined inner states. They are micro-collapses of the wave, quiet miracles born whenever you allow yourself to become a channel of harmony within the ordinary rhythms of life. The invitation now is to carry everything you've experienced here into your everyday living. Observe yourself as you wake, as you speak, as you rest. Let your breath remind you who is at the helm, your conscious awareness, not the turbulence of circumstance. Choose vibrations that nurture balance and creativity, and hold them until new pathways open naturally. This gentle discipline builds a space where serenity and purpose walk together, illuminating both simple tasks and complex decisions. If this content has resonated with you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. That gesture is more than support. It is an energetic alignment. By valuing knowledge that expands awareness, you collaborate with a greater movement of transformation. Every share is a ripple that touches other lives, reminding them that clarity, empathy, and presence are available to anyone willing to tune their inner field toward light and coherence. Let this be only the beginning of a practice that transcends screens and words. You are invited to become the attentive observer, the alchemist of emotions, the conductor of frequencies that favor balance and growth. In choosing this stance, you honor the intelligence vibrating in every cell, every atom, every thought. Walk forward with trust. The universe responds to those who decide, with love and with courage, to inhabit the field of their most luminous possibilities. And so, see you in the next video, with more information on everything that involves growing, evolving, transforming, and manifesting. See you soon.